Hello, bonjour, welcome, et bienvenue. Over the years, I've heard many people say that they do not need Excel to perform any calculations. But I've found that's because they're only thinking of mathematical operations. Excel also has a wide range of statistical formulas that are really useful for summarizing a dataset. In this short video, I will review some of the most basic statistical functions that can be used to do so. So, to illustrate these, let's consider a range of fictitious enrollment data. So, as an aside, when we have a large range of data, we might want to freeze the window pane so that some cells are always visible no matter where we scroll. And there are buttons to do this in the View menu. For example, we might want the headers in the top row of this data range to always be visible. And in this data range, the leftmost column is the unique identifier of a fake student ID number, so we might want those to always be visible too. So to freeze the panes to make both the top row and the left column always visible, we select cell B2, so below the top row and to the right of the leftmost column. Then we go to the View menu, click Freeze Panes. As another aside, we can sort this data range if we like. To do that, first we select all of the data. So the easiest way to do that is to click cell A1, then do Control-Shift down arrow to select the entire column, then Control-Shift right arrow to select all of the columns. Now we can go to the Data menu, click Sort. First we confirm that what we've selected includes a header row, the column that we want to sort by, in this case, let's say cumulative GPA. We're going to sort on the basis of cell values, and we're going to sort from largest to smallest. Now I've noticed that the GPA values are not all showing to the same number of decimal places, so I'm going to quickly select all of those values, go back to the Home menu, and adjust the number of digits that are shown for all of them until we get the right number, in this case 2 digits. So now I'm going to add a divider column just for visualization purposes. So I'm going to select column S, and on the Home menu change the color to gray. This just defines the rightmost edge of the table for me, so the text that I'm going to add to the right of column S is visibly separated from the data range itself. Now I'm going to add the text describing the analyses that I'm going to perform. For example, I want to count the records. I want to know the highest GPA. I want to know the lowest GPA. I want to know the average GPA, the mean GPA, and the standard deviation of that mean. And I want to know the median GPA. Let's make all of this text red and bold. Why not? Now you can see some of the text is wider than the current width of column T, but we can adjust the width of column T to automatically accommodate the widest content by just going up to the letter T, over to the right hand side of that column, and double clicking. Now let's go to cell U2, Great Band, and enter a formula that will provide a count of the records. So to do that, I type equals to indicate that what follows is a formula. And then I type the function count, open bracket. And now I have to indicate what records are to be counted. So in this case, I would go to cell K2 and then Control-Shift down arrow to select the entire column. Close bracket, return. So now you can see that it's counted the number of records and returns the number 100. Now, I would like to perform a number of different analyses on the same data range, K2 to K101, but I don't want to type K2 to K101 or even select it every time. So I'm just going to go back to the formula in U2, and I'm going to select that data range, and I'm just going to make it absolute. And I'll show you why in a minute. So now when I hit return, nothing changes. It's the same data range. But now if I select cell U2, I can drag it all the way down to U7, and it's copied the same formula every time. And because that data range was absolute, its number hasn't been incremented even as I drag it down a number of different rows. So now I just have to edit the function that is used in each of these formulas in order to provide a different analysis. For example, to get the highest GPA of that range, I would use the function max. To know the lowest GPA, I would change count to the function min. To know the mean GPA, I would change the function count to the function average. To know the standard deviation of that mean, I would change the function count to the function standard deviation. And to know the median GPA, I would change the function count to the function median. And I find it's a lot faster to simply edit the function than to reselect the range every time. Now you notice that the standard deviation of the mean is reported to an unreasonable number of significant figures, so I'm just going to trim that back to have it report the standard deviation to the same number of significant digits as the mean itself. And now we can finish up with some more formatting. I can just make it clear that all of these values are the output of formulas by selecting them and then choosing the cell style output.